Good morning. I just wanted to go over some APA and text citation information with you guys today. So APA is a formatting style that we use to give, to follow general rules about how do we cite things, how to make a reference page, how do we set up our paper. And so we talked about the reference page. You watched that video last week. This time we're talking about in-text citations because you will be expected to have both of those for your first project. Anytime you quote or paraphrase someone else's work, you have to have it in text citation. So if you're using someone else's ideas, direct phrases from their work, you have to cite it. When you're summarizing, you don't have to use the in-text citation, which is what I'm getting ready to go over, but you should say like, according to so-and-so, I found this, but it doesn't have to be the formal citation. But direct quotes go in quotation marks. Paraphrasing, which is when you rewrite what they say, and not just like changing one or two words. Like you need to completely change the sentence and all of that as you're doing this. Those have to have in-text citations to give credit where credit is due and to avoid plagiarism. Even if you think, I'm not directly plagiarizing them, like I'm trying to do it right. Like I might say, oh, I got it from Smith and Smith, but you don't have the full thing. Some people will call that plagiarism. For now, don't stress too much. Attempt the citation and we'll practice some more to make you feel confident. So what goes into an APA in-text citation? You have to have the author's last name, the year it was published, and then if there are page numbers, you include the page number. One really helpful thing is this chart. I love this chart. I'm not gonna lie. I'll pull it up when I'm refreshing myself for this class as well. So what it does is it breaks down for you how many authors you have, if you have an organization as an author, and then what to do if that organization has a shortening, like Centers for Disease Control is also known as the CDC, how to handle those. It will tell you how, if you're referencing it in the sentence, so having an attributive tag, meaning in the sentence, I acknowledge the author by saying, according to Jones or Smith and Jones argue, this is how you do it in this first column. If you're not going to mention the author in the sentence, it's like part of what you write out, then you have what we call a parenthetical in-text citation, and this column shows you how to do that. Please use this as often as you want. When you're making your PowerPoint for your first project, when you do your second project in-text citations, this is a great resource for you. You can find it at the very top of our Unit 1 under course content. It's a PDF. It has other information in here as well, but that in-text citation chart is going to be, I think, hopefully a game changer for you. So again, this is going to reload first. There it is. It tells you how to handle one author, two author, three or more. So one, just last name. Second author, in a sentence, you write out the word and. In parenthetical, you use the ampersand, so the and sign. So you hit shift number 7. If there's 3 or more authors for your in-text citation, it does become et al. So you go by the first author listed, Smith et al. I often have students ask me, hey, we're supposed to alphabetize the reference page. So does that mean I rearrange the authors? The answer is no. The authors are listed in a specific order for a reason. Normally that is because you have like your head researchers first and then everybody like by contribution. So you cannot rearrange the order of the authors. You just go with the one that's listed first. So first, last name, and then et al, which essentially means and everybody else. You'll notice that after all, which is just AL, there's a little period right here. The other thing I do want to point out to you about punctuation is that the period will go at the end of the citation. So like this, the parenthetical is always at the end of the sentence. You can see, and I don't have a thing I can draw on, so hopefully you should see my mouse moving around this. You can see that the period goes at the end of the parentheses, not in it, not before it, at the end of it. So please make sure you review this chart. It's got lots of great information on how to handle different authors, and it will also help you do the homework that is due. So some other things I just want to let you know. I've talked about how to handle the authors. If there is no author, use the title of the work. So if I was using like a web article and there's no author on the web page, but the title was called Social Media Impacts, I would put in quotation marks social media impacts, and that's how I would cite it in the text. There are some common questions that pop up. I'm just reviewing that real quick for you because I want you to know if there's no publication year, you'd put in.d. which means no date. So what that would look like, just as an example, is I'd have like Smith, no date, says, and then it would continue on like that. And if you were just doing a parenthetical, it would just be Smith, no dot date, and then if I had page numbers, page 2. If there are no page numbers, as of the most recent update, we are counting out paragraphs. I know that could get long, but the good news is most of your longer works are going to have page numbers, so that's great news. I don't think you guys will have to cite a table anytime soon, but if you did, you'd replace the page number with just the table number. I've already talked to you about summary. You don't have to provide a full in-text citation for a summary, but you should at least mention where you got it from. And we're not going to talk about long quotes yet because we don't need that for this project, and I don't want to confuse you. So again, anytime you use someone else's information, you need to give them credit. Direct quotes, paraphrasings, have to have an in-text citation. Summary, just reference briefly where you got it from. It doesn't have to be this formal outlook. In Unit 1, you have the PDF that will give you this really handy-dandy in-text citation chart that you can follow. You always include the author. Immediately after the author is going to go the year, and then you'll also include the page number. If you have questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you soon.